Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Welcome to Queen Bree's Living Broadcaster here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. I am your host, Queen Bree, and we have today with us our co-host, Christina Chambers. How are you, Christina?
good. A little
Good.
cold.
It is. It's cold, but it's not.
I
I
know.
The weather has been weird. Like I haven't had to wear my coat as often as I normally do during the winter months.
Yeah, I think it's like 54 today,
Ooh, yeah. Excuse
which
me.
kind of mild.
All right. We have some announcements today. Um, the Call to Conscience Museum is opening up this Thursday. Oh my God. It is already Black History Month Call to Conscience, February 1st through the 29th. You guys can go visit the Call to Conscience Museum, which is at Rainier Avenue Radio, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. starting February 1st for Black History Month. So what goes on there is there's a lot of history. They set it up like a museum. So Rainier Avenue Radio will be a museum. They'll have Seattle Black Panther exhibits, Black Heritage Society of Washington, Rainier Cinema, Black Movies, Hartsfield Family Enslaved Quilt Collection. Wow, that sounds nice. Negro League Baseball, NAACP, um, Revere, Rain, already said that. Ezel's Famous Chicken, Nasty Mix, Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like big butts and I can't not lie. Okay, you cannot say Sir Mix-a-Lot and not sing that, okay? South Emerald, Museum of Art, the Museum of History and Industry, Community Keepsakes, and Total Experience Choir. Oh, nice. And the Black Prison Caucus. So you guys, please stay focused and not focused. Please stay tuned and come join Rainier Avenue Radio February 1st through the 29th. Um, this Saturday at 1 p.m., we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Ezel's Famous Chicken. Live coverage February 3rd at 1 p.m. Wow. Where is the set? What's happening here? Is there free chicken? When I tell you I am addicted to Ezel's and I really have been having to stay focused and not eat it. Because for a while, I would have to have it at least once a week. Ezel's is so good. And happy 40th anniversary celebration. Please go out and support Ezel's is famous. Our famous chicken, black owned, been around for 40 years.
Can I
That's
ask you?
amazing.
Can I ask you a question though?
Uh-huh.
I've never had Heaven Sent.
I've never had
What's the
heaven sent
difference?
either.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, no, I've heard, but we ain't look. I haven't
Somebody.
heard at it. Somebody said there was one down the street from me, but I never saw it. I never saw it. So details.
I saw one recently. I think traveling north, but if anybody has anybody had Heaven Sent, can y'all comment?
Comment. And Ezels, I love like I'm going out north and seeing Ezels. I'm going out south and seeing Ezels. And I want to say, did I see any Ezels in Bellevue? Can't remember. But Ezels is really
Mhm.
making its way around and it's
There's
amazing.
one in Woodinville
Wow.
near out by the black farmers.
That's pretty
Yeah,
dope.
I was surprised.
And they all and being in business for 40 years is a big deal because being a small business owner, a lot of people don't survive and Ezel started off as a small business owner and now just look at him. So that is hope for people who are trying to start a business. Keep your head to the pavement, keep doing it, keep focused and you'll be celebrating 40 years. Amazing. Amazing. It's what Factoria, Federal Way, Kent, Linwood,
Oh, there you
Mill
go.
Creek, Renton. Wow. Look,
Yeah, everywhere.
next they're gonna be in the airport.
Oh,
Look, I don't know. I'm just claiming it for them if that's what y'all want. If that's what y'all want. So January, it's the end of January, and you know what? I think maybe we should start doing this. First of all, you guys, let's acknowledge leap year. It is a leap year because there's only 28 days in February. And the only reason why I remember to keep up with leap year is because my cousin was born a leap year. So she gets an actual birth date this year. So I'm happy for her. Shout out to Jamila.
Hmm.
Um, but it is the end of the month, and I think we should start doing end of month check-ins. Like each month we talk about a lot of stuff, and we should check in with what we're doing and talk about our progress. So it's the first month of the year 2024. Can you believe 2024? When I was a kid, they had me thinking that the world was ending in 2000. And here we are 24 years later, grown ups.
Yeah.
My age this year is getting a little too serious for my own good. But thank God I'm there was this lady at our church that used to always say she was thankful to be on top of the dirt and the dirt not on top of her. So
Right.
I am
Yeah,
grateful.
tell that to your kids when they're calling you a boomer.
Oh, my, ki- my kids are so disrespectful. They don't even call me a boomer. They just straight up call me old.
Mom, you're so old. And
You're
I'm like,
old.
whatever.
And we'll be watching movies from back in the day, and they'll be like, "So what was that?" Like, "I don't know, I wasn't born back then." They tried to tell me.
No, my daughter is like asking me about movies from the 90s and like, "Mom, how come you never showed me that? But then you won't call me old."
No, my kids will be watching movies, like, we were watching The Color Purple the other day, and they were asking me questions, like, back in those times, like, "There was radios back in the time?" "I guess so, it's on the screen, isn't it?" "I wouldn't know." But anyways, we could talk all day about these little disrespectful kids that wanna call us old. But I can't talk, it may be my karma because my mom she was a young parent, so she was like 30, 31, and I was calling her old. I was
Mhm,
12. But,
mhm.
let's do a check-in. So, well, first of all, let's do a daily check-in, like, "Christina, how are you doing today? How's it going? How are you
Um,
feeling?"
I have mixed feelings, like, I've been keeping some goals, priorities, at
Mhm.
the forefront. I like your background.
Thank
That's
you. Oh,
ours too, no, that's our greens?
that's our greens. I was
Okay,
trying something new.
it is nice.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I don't know, I've been, like, taking care of business in some areas and then still thinking about what I need to do in others, so I don't know, just trying to stay focused, but give myself some grace and and delegate to
Ooh,
others
that's a strong word.
responsibility,
Say that again. Delegate.
delegate responsibility, delegate responsibility to others. Yeah.
Nice. Ooh. Delegate, that's a strong word for some of us, especially if you're a Black woman. I know y'all be getting tired of us Black women, but this is true. We tired of talking about it just as much as you tired of hearing about it. But
Mhm.
delegating. You know what? I've noticed a lot of people have been talking about, "Oh, January's so long. Oh, this is not the year it's supposed to be giving, and what is happening?" And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
actually having a good time in January. Like, what is happening out there? You guys wanna talk
Okay.
back? How is your January
Well,
going?
what are you
How
doing?
like,
H
yeah,
how are you having a good time in January?
who, me?
Yeah.
Um, okay, so one of the goals I set in January was to relax and not take on so many projects where I'm stressed out. So January, I was like, I'm not taking on any other projects. I'm just doing my home life and my work life. Nothing else for January.
Mm.
And
So you
I've
set boundaries.
hmm?
You set a boundary.
The hardest boundary I set was for myself. I feel like that's the hardest boundary is to set for yourself because I've been in survival mode my whole life. And so this time, in order to break out of survival mode, I had to let all the chips fall. So whatever fell, like not too many chips was falling, but I just was like, I cannot take on anything else and I cannot stress about anyone else's stuff. I haven't, if a phone call stresses me out or makes me feel some kind of way, I'll get off the phone and won't talk. So, yes, I have to set some personal boundaries because what you think is how you feel, and how it determines your day, determines your week, and determines your life. So I have to sit back with myself and get to know who I am, get to know what I want, get to know what I need. And it has been, I won't say it was perfect because there were times where I was stressed out just because I was scared to relax because I was like, I got to be doing something. What if
Uh,
so
isn't
it was
that
a lot
anxiety?
that
I feel
is
like
anxiety.
that.
That is anxiety, but thankfully I am in therapy. So if am I still there? My screen.
You're a little frozen. You're a little stiff.
Okay, can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Okay. So until I get unstiff, as long as you can hear me. Also I'm in therapy. So therapy, I know people have like this stigma around therapy, but it has been so amazing for me. Are you still there?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, that
I
I
just
lose her.
advocated for my son at the doctor's his wellness exam this morning. Surprisingly, I kinda put him on the spot too, but surprisingly, he was like, "Yeah, I would be open to talking to someone."
Good. That's nice.
You're still
Um,
frozen, by the way.
there we go. I just turned my screen off
Okay, there you go.
and turned it back on. I am in a different area today, a quieter area, and I just wanted to see what that would be like. But
Mm.
no, that's good. My daughter needed therapy. And at first I was like, do you really need therapy? Like, cause she's young. Like, what is don't question it. If your kids need therapy, give it to them because I opened up this space where I was like, well, before I put you in therapy, just know that you can come talk to me. Like I'll give you an hour free where you can say whatever you want and not get in trouble. Even if it's like you're mad at me. And when I tell you this girl has been talking my ear off, we are getting her a therapist immediately. There's just some things as parents we're not equipped to help our children with, if that makes sense. And it's okay to talk about delegating. It's
That's a
okay.
hard bargain you made. How can you not listen to what you're gonna take in the info? You can't be like, "No, I didn't hear her say that." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, some of the things that she complains about, like I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys, but they're like mixture. So it's a girl, boy, girl, boy. And so she's between so the oldest girl is 8 years older than her. And so really they don't have much to talk about. And then she's stuck between the 2 boys. And I don't know if y'all have ever been raised with brothers, but they're brutal. Oh my
Mm,
god. Me and my brother are 12 years apart, and I was the eldest, so I didn't have to worry too much about what she has to go through. So her complaints are like, of course, old school stuff when we ask her to do stuff, but then her brothers ask her to do stuff, and she's so sweet. So then she always does stuff for them. So she feels like she's doing stuff for everybody. And so she's so stressed out. So just like those type of things is what she needs to get off her chest. And then she's self-conscious, so she talks a lot about that. So
mhm,
and then if she says she's mad at me about something, my therapist helped me, one, to be able to, look, my little green screen, my green thingamajig is showing. My therapist helped me be able to, talk about difficult conversations with my kids, hear them out, empathize with them. But if it's something out of our control, it's just something out of our control. One, if it's you're disappointed in something I said do and you don't feel like you should have to do it, I'm still the parent. There's a reason why I'm asking you to do it. I'm not asking you to kill anybody, harm anybody, or do anything crazy. I'm asking you to do something that's beneficial to you and the household. So our word is just our word. So it's parents, it's nothing wrong with just hearing your kids out. Now I may have overdone it with some of my kids, but it's never too late to get things back in order. where you can hear them, you can empathize with them, you can
Mm,
understand because we've been kids before. So we know, like sometimes our parents tells us to do stuff and we don't understand. They're not going to understand, and we just got to be okay with that. And still, our word is our word, and that's the end of it. And I seen this clip from not Oprah, Whoopi, that helped me even too, because she was like, "You can't be friends with your kids." That's another mistake I made. You, I love how
mhm.
we always have a subject that we want to talk about, and we always been off into something else. But you know what? Clean Greens is all about fresh eating, mental health. We talk about everything as a whole, and this affects it. Um, Whoopi was like, "You cannot be friends with your kids," and people always be like, "Why can't you be friends with your kids?" There's a way to be kind to your kid, spend time with your kid, love your kid, hear them out, joke around with them, but there has to be some boundary. You're the parent, you're paying bills. The things that you're asking them for are things that are important for their lives, right? And so we can't always negotiate everything, but my good old friend Whoopi was like, you cannot be friends with your kids until they're like 26. 26, she said, is when they start getting it. And that was
Mm,
very helpful to me because especially when you're new to being a parent, like each level of parenting is something new. You're a new parent. And if you're a new parent, you haven't experienced certain ages for your children. And so for our first kids, it's our first time experiencing a lot of things with them. So this is my first time experiencing being a parent to a grown up, someone who is legally a grown up, right? But there's some things that they still don't know as children that you still have to talk to them and pretty much still you're still raising them. You're still raising them.
and not
So
even talk sometimes. Sometimes you have to just sit back and listen and wait
yeah,
and pray for them and hope that they're, on the right track to figuring it out
yeah. And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part is,
and holding your tongue.
ooh, especially when you've been through, you've seen, and you want to stop them, but you can't. Another thing that's hard as a parent is allowing them. I'm learning we have to allow them to hurt, allow them to go through. Because I'm the type of parent, anytime my kids are sad, are mad, I want to try to make them happy or make them forget about it. But that can be dismissing their feelings. So you gotta, and then also they have to go through these feelings so they know what they feel like, know how to handle it, process it, work with it. So as another thing as parent is just letting them have their feelings. Like my one of my kids, she always thinks nobody likes her or she's having bad luck finding good friends. And so I always try to distract her mind from it. But what I
Mm,
have to do is just let her sit in it and just validate her feelings. Like, yeah, that's hard. I'm sorry that you have to go through this, but this is life. So those are
mm.
some hard things. Um, but yeah,
It's hard hearing about how other kids treat your kids too. I remember my daughter, it's like, yeah, she never really had it was like she was constantly being disappointed by friendships, you know?
yeah.
So I don't think she ever really had a good friend, but it was one of the things that she really desired.
And
So
another thing that I gotta say, because when you say that, it is so infuriating when people are mean to your children and you want to intervene, you want to go cuss a kid out, beat a kid up. Parents, do not do that, please.
do not do it.
Do not, please. If there is a way for you to handle it with the parent, not the child. And I say that because there are so many times where people will go to the kid and not the parent. And I've had that happen to me before where I was in the office with at the school ready to fight the parent for talking to my kid. Like, I'm here. You don't address my kid, you address me. We handle it. Because a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, our kids are in stupid arguments with kids about stupid things. And then we get involved, we get angry, and we're ready to cuss a kid out, and they arguing over random things like who's going to graduate or your breath stink, right? And then a lot of the times, yeah, my son got confronted because he said a little girl's breath stink. And
Oh, I thought those were really good random examples, but you're for
Yeah,
real.
yeah, no, I'm for real. Like those are random. And then like the mom confronted him because her daughter's feelings were hurt, but turns out her daughter was saying some crazy stuff to my son about boys are stupid, they're not graduating.
But what if her breath really did? Okay.
Well, her breath, that's when girl, I almost said, child, does her breath stink? Is it like, why are we here? Why are we here? But I had to laugh about it later on because we were really like ready because I don't play about mines, but I go to the parent. But it's like you're ready to confront a kid and fight a parent because your daughter's breath, he said her breath stink.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, her daughter's breath allegedly stank. But she even got more mad because I also teach my kids like people are gonna say some stuff about you, and you got to learn how to be strategic, how to pick and choose your battles, and not fight everybody every time somebody says something about you, or you'll be fighting everybody. So she got even more mad at him because she's like, "Well, how would you like it if somebody said your breath stink?" And he's like, "I wouldn't care." So she got mad about that. But long story short, if she would have came to me and we could have got to the bottom of it, now I'm mad at you, the school, and your allegedly stinky breath daughter because y'all want to confront my son instead of go to the adults. So this is why I say parents don't confront kids because a lot of times we'd be so angry and enraged it'd be over something so silly. And then also it's teaching you and your kids how to communicate with others and how to problem solve and how to work things
Yes.
out, which is also,
Effective communication
yeah, we need to learn how to effectively,
without involving the police.
yes. Ooh, child, I got some stories where I could have been up at that school for thousands of kids. But anyways, we're talking about check-in.
Mhm.
So, making sure that you guys, so January was a month where I just relaxed, didn't do anything extra. It was a fight because my body is used to being and doing. And so I had to work that out with my therapist about like, you don't have to have all your goals ready to go for the new year in January. You don't have to accomplish everything in January. And I'm also learning that what you think is what's happening in your life. So if you're always down and depressed, you're going to be down and depressed and nothing's going to get done. But if you start to change your thoughts, you'll start to feel better. Like I feel joyful even when things aren't going the way I would expect it. I still feel joyful because I know that things are going to get better. So that's what I did for January and it's going good, and you won't miss opportunities from taking time for yourself. A lot of times we don't take time for ourselves because we think we're going to miss opportunities. What's for you will be for you. So don't worry about missing opportunities. Sometimes you have to take a step back and sit quietly and do nothing, and then everything will start coming to you. Now,
Mm.
I didn't run on a rampage. Christina, do you have anything you want to say that you worked on that came true or work in progress, giving ourselves grace? That's also okay. No,
Um,
you're being hard on yourself in your head. And
well, yeah, I had to deal with a car repair and I have to go back because something's not right. So I don't know. That's what's on my mind. Like, I'm like, is this what you get because you couldn't go to the right the a better mechanic, or
nah, I
is
just feel like
this
every time you get your car fixed, there's always something else happen. Like,
okay?
are
But let
they
me tell you what it is though. It's a
what?
new tire that's
Uh-huh.
losing air.
Oh yeah,
Why would a
no.
new tire be losing air?
Right. That's annoying. Go back to that place and tell them what's going on.
Okay. Um, yeah. I just don't want to turn into my dad.
What's
Like
that? What furniture like what?
my dad be snapping on people. And I like find myself like easily irritated with people more. So I
Maybe
really have to, I'm like, just be quiet, just be quiet. Like, I have to tell myself that.
well, don't tell yourself to be quiet. Why don't you say pause? Take a deep
Well,
breath
at
and
least let them talk. So I'm saying don't
say a deep
interrupt them. Let them
be-
talk.
before you go, take a deep breath, say a prayer, ask God to guide your tongue. That way you're not denying what you're feeling and you can get out what you need to say without cussing somebody out.
Well, Imma have to make a decision before I go, like, how to deal with them. Like, you have to explain to me why a new tire.
Deal with them like they're human beings and that this is just a job and that people make mistakes. Give them grace and give yourself grace and ask for a replacement. And then if this replacement happens, now we could just be a little bit more firmer and elevate, but not to cussing out, but to like, this is the second time. There will not be a third time. Because now you're stressing yourself out. Because like people, okay, real quick before
I
we
don't
get out of here, everybody wants to cuss somebody out.
No,
Everybody feels
no,
I say this
no.
like we think that that's the answer to the problems, but handling it aggressively is not always a problem. Being firm, being strategic, knowing being direct will help you further than ready to go off.
I don't think I'll go back a third time, though.
I know I'm just saying, well, the second time, but they still need to give you your money back. So you better go back that third time and get your money. Take deep breaths. Well, you look like you cussing them out in your head. Are you here?
I don't even think it's worth it at that point, like, the gas, like, I don't know, it just makes me some people are very, like my brother, he's the type of person, he doesn't hold on to, he's like a m what you would call a minimalist, and he doesn't deal with coupons or deals, hassles, like, he'll just pay for it to get done once it's done, and I kind of agree with that, like, but then that goes into, the haves and the have-nots, so I wish I could pay for it where I know it's gonna be done and be done right. So and I hate dealing with mechanics.
Me too. Me too. We'll talk more about this offline. That is time, guys. Be easy with yourself. Take time to yourself and start finding ways to reframe your thought process. All right. See you next week.
All out eating greens.
All while eating greens. Bye.
Bye.